Hey everybody, it's GomblinX and welcome back to some more Magic Arena. Today I'll be playing the Kamigawa Neon Dynasty Limited Arena Open. Day 1 of this event costs 5,000 gems or 25,000 gold, and you do not get anything back except a Jin Gataxius card style until 5 wins, in which case you get 1,000 gems back, 6 wins you get 2,500 gems back, and if you get 7 wins, that's where you qualify for Day 2. No matter what, in Day 2 you get at least 5,000 gems back, and you get escalating prizes all the way up to $2,500 if you can get 8 wins before 2 losses in a best-of-3 traditional draft format of Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. So an incredibly high-stakes format with only the most competitive players because it costs essentially $25 a run, and you are incredibly unlikely to get anything back out of it. So, without further ado, let's hop into this extremely high-stakes Kamigawa Neon Dynasty sealed event. So it looks like a pretty solid start to the event with this sealed pool. Junji the Midnight Sky, a 5-mana 5/5 flying menace with great abilities when it dies, so unless your opponent exiles it the second it hits the board, it's doing something good for you. And Otawara Soaring City is pretty great if we go down blue, because this gives us a land that can be channeled as a spell if we draw it in the late game when we don't need lands anymore. So those two are pretty excellent rares. We do have some big duds. March of Burgeoning Life does basically nothing in limited. Same with the Mirror Box here, all about playing a ton of legendary cards. Ishin is also very low impact for the restrictive mana cost of having to be red, white, and black. Sure, you can draft around it and get a bunch of creatures with attacking triggers, but in sealed, the odds of opening a deck that can synergize with this well enough is really low. That being said, we do have Tameshi Reality Architect, which is right in the middle, in the in-between between the Mega Bombs of Junji and the super solid inclusions like Otawara, and then the duds like March of Burgeoning Life. Tameshi is really good if you're in blue-white. Specifically, you have to be somewhat of a specific deck for it, but not specific enough where it's like Ishin, where I'm not excited about this. I think if we can go down blue-white, this is going to be a great card, letting us bounce our lands to return artifacts and enchantments from our graveyard to the battlefield. Super solid card there. So some pretty good rares, Junji and Tameshi specifically. So go ahead and see if we have the cards in those colors to support those rares, starting off with the strongest rare, probably Junji the Midnight Sky, and it looks like we have some solid stuff in black to support Junji. So we'll set our mediocre cards to the side here and see what we've got here. This is pretty mediocre too. So Kami of Restless Shadow is a card that's only really good if you have a ton of ninjas and rogues, because putting a creature from your graveyard on top of your library is kind of time walking yourself. You're skipping your next draw step to put that into your hand, instead of just straight putting it into your hand. Putting a creature from your grave into hand is card advantage, but putting it on top of your library is not. It is just card selection, which is pretty slow. Okiba Salvage is not a card I'm probably ever going to play in this format, simply because there just are not enough combos with it, enough synergies with it. The idea is you can channel like a really expensive card and then get it back, but at that point you're doing a 2-card combo just to get a 6 or 7 mana card out 1 or 2 turns earlier. If you're trying to do that, just ramping up is a much better way to do that, because it's just going to consistently help with so many other cards instead of just this one specific combo. So I really am not a fan of Okiba Salvage. Malicious Malfunction, not a card I'm super high on either. You could play against opponents that don't have a lot of 2 toughness creatures, and our black is really bad for that because we have so many 2 or 1 toughness creatures, we'd be killing our own cards. And I just don't love discard spells like Kaito's Pursuit or Reckoner Shakedown. So that's why those are all just getting dumped immediately. But pretty much everything else in black is at least on the solid filler level. And we have some great stuff. Junji, Twisted Embrace are excellent. Virus Beetle is really good with ninjutsu. Nezumi Prowler is a great ninjutsu card. Life of Toshio Umezawa is one of the best sagas in the whole format. Super, super busted card with just how flexible it is. Really good when you get to kill a card with it with the -1/-1. Quite like the look of our black here. But we'll make sure to take a look, at least a peek at every other color pair. But I'm certainly thinking we can certainly go down the black path here. See what we have in our multicolored, see if there's any black and something else. Nope, very few multicolored cards, just Ishin, 2 Heavens is 1. I don't think I'm going to try to do black, red, white. I don't know, maybe we've got Double Spirited Companion. Probably our best white cards. Intercessor's Arrest is solid too. Riki Yamazaki's fine. But we only have 2, we have 2 Samurai and 1 Warrior in white, only 2 of which have abilities when we attack. In black, we have 0 Samurai or Warrior, and nothing that triggers on an attack. In red, we have 1 that triggers on attack, 2, we have like 3 that triggers on attack. I don't think Ishin's going to be doing all that much. I don't think it's worth the color restrictive cost, as I said. We're definitely going to play Circuit Mender in any deck we build. Super solid card, 3 mana, gain 2 life, and draw a card, and it's a 2/3. Really good with Ninjutsu because you get to bounce it back to your hand, draw a card when it leaves the battlefield, and then recast it. Really good with Sacrifice Outlets because you sacrifice it and draw a card. So Circuit Mender's going in any deck. High Speed Hoverbike's probably going in any deck. It's just a really cheap vehicle. You can crew for only 1 with something like a Virus Beetle to have a nice 2-power flyer on the board. Plus, it's a flash effect, so it's instant speed, and it taps something down when you play it. Another just great flexible card there. Do like double Searchlight Companion if we are going black, which we probably are, because they work great with the Dakichi Shadow Walkers, the 4-mana ninjutsu card. So yeah, I think these are the colorless cards we're running in black, and probably in any deck we'd run these. Could run a Network Terminal if we end up wanting to splash into a 3-color deck here, but a lot of our rares are pretty weak and not something we super want to splash in. So maybe if we go blue, black, white to make sure that we get to play Tameshi and use Tameshi's effect, or if we want to go red, white, black for Ishin, then we could play Network Terminal. But if we're not 3 colors, if we're just 2, then I would prefer not to run it. And Iron Apprentice is good in like Rakdos Artifact Sacrifice decks or red-green decks that really care about having a modified creatures on board, but I wouldn't run it in every single deck, so we'll consider that at a later time. I guess I'm just going to move backwards now. Green looks solid. I mean, Boseiju Reacher Skyward is quite a big game ender, but other than that, we've got a Careful Cultivation for ramp, Master's Rebuke for removal, Orochi Mergekeeper for ramp, Fade into Antiquities like 1 more removal spell, but green looks very narrow because the rest of the cards now are just going to be pretty filler stuff. Like we can run all of these. I guess that is a decent amount of green cards, isn't it? That's what we've got: 5 colorless, 17 lands. Let me just click this. 11 green cards, 11 green symbols, but they're all single greens. Yeah, that's 11 green cards. Yeah, green looks pretty all right. I mean, we don't have a rare, but we have Boseiju Reaches Skyward, which is quite powerful too. So I do like that. I think I'm just going to guarantee the black in here. I'm just going to slap that in here and look for the best support color for what black is good at, or for what our black is good at. See how our curve looks, how many creatures we've got. Super creature heavy. Probably looking for a support color with some good non-creature cards. Lots of 2-drops too, so maybe a support color with just a couple cheap 2 or 3 mana creatures. A lot of good non-creature stuff is what we're looking for. White-black would be interesting because the Spirited Companions are great with ninjutsu as well, with the Shadow Walkers. But let's actually take a look at blue here for Tameshi. We do have double the Modern Age, which is a great cheap saga. Draw 2 cards, discard 2, get a 2/3 flyer out of it eventually. Love that. Love the Prosperous Thief. Nice cheap ninjutsu effect, plus spitting out treasure tokens to help Tameshi work out. We'd probably want to go like black-blue here and just splash in Tameshi's activated ability off of treasure tokens and maybe like a 1 of planes. So very excited actually about the prospects of black-blue. We even get more removal. Tamiyo's Completion. Behold the Unspeakable is a great big non-creature spell. There's a draw spell there, so we are filling out the non-creature slots with some card draw, a little more removal. Network Disruptor is great with ninjutsu. Otawara is an excellent land, giving us a spell when we draw that late game. We could even run Planar Incision if we're really hurting for non-creature cards. And then see what we want to splash in with white. Unfortunately, our mana fixing is bad in this sealed pool. We don't have any non-basic lands except this thing that crews a vehicle, which is really not good. But we do have 1 Network Terminal. We don't have anything that searches our library for land. We don't have a Greater Tanuki in green. We don't have the Ecologist's Terrarium in colorless. So we're kind of stuck with just jamming a Network Terminal in here, hoping for the best. We have 1 card that makes treasure tokens, 1 card that taps for mana of any color, and that's probably just going to have to do it, because our mana fixing is bad enough. I don't really want to run any just straight up white cards in the deck, because they're just so likely to get stuck in our hand, And we have double blue cards. We have double black cards like Junji, Twisted Embrace. We need to hit double black for these. We need to hit double blue for Behold. So mudding up our mana base by throwing in a white source would be pretty hurtful, pretty painful. So I think I'm just straight up going to run the one card that makes treasures, the one card that taps for mana of any color. And now the worst that can happen if we just don't draw a white source is that we have a 3 mana 2/3. Right? A 3 mana 2/3 is not that bad. It's not ideal, but it's still doing something for us. And when we do have the white source, we still get to pop off and do nasty things with this card, like pull back a Circuit Mender or a Network Disruptor or something from our graveyard to the board, pull back a Virus Beetle. You know, any of that kind of stuff is going to be really good with Tameshi. So I like having just Network Terminal, Prosperous Thief, and just not mucking up the mana base by throwing a Plains or anything in. And we'll just deal with Tameshi being a 3 mana 2/3 sometimes. Sometimes it's just going to be a Tellurian Scholar. We're going to be okay with that. So let's cut some cards here. We do have a 43 card deck. What do we want to cut the most? What are the most fillery kind of cards? Chainflail Centipede's pretty filler here. Although it is good with the flyers, the Searchlight Companions, the Modern Age, the Network Disruptor. It's good with those, but it feels like we have so many ninjutsu cards instead that are good with those. The Shadow Walkers, the Prosperous Thief. And those cards are also good with a bunch of our other stuff. I do have to cut 3 cards here. Planar Incision's pretty awkward. We've got a lot of Enter the Battlefield effects to work with it, and it does basically counter a removal spell, which is cool. It might be worth it with the amount of Enter the Battlefield effects we have. It's really good with Circuit Mender as well. Gain another 2 life, draw a card. Yeah, we'll keep Planar Incision in here for that synergy. Hoverbike is good with our 1-power creatures, like our little 1/1 Virus Beetle, little Disruptor. Just great creatures to crew it with. Our little 1/1 Spirits crew it well too. Yeah, we're going to keep Hoverbike in here. It's really good with Searchlight Companions. Gives our 1/1 Spirits something important to do. Thirst for Knowledge is great. Yeah, we're just cutting creatures here. Shadow Walkers are a bit medium. Centipede's a bit medium. I like Gravelighter with double Searchlight Companion and Virus Beetle for expendable creatures. But it is one of my least favorite creatures in the deck because I have had it play poorly for me a lot. Wow, we have just so many cards. We have to make some hard choices on what we really want to do here. I love the Circuit Menders in here. They're so good with Ninjutsu. They're so good with Planar Incision. All of our 2-drops are great. Like Ninjutsu synergies and stuff. We just cut some lands here. What if we just don't even go for Tameshi? Do we cut Network Terminal Tameshi here? Cut Network Terminal Tameshi in 1 land, maybe? And just go for the really like quick Ninjutsu synergy deck instead that still has bomb power. We still have a Junji even without a Tameshi. I'm kind of down for that. You know, we have like other really good synergies for putting a lot of pressure on. If we don't cut the Centipede, then we still get to like just slap this onto flyers like Searchlight Companion and Disruptor to chip in for a lot of damage, slap it onto a Gravelighter. I kind of like goodbye Tameshi, goodbye Network Terminal, goodbye 1 land. Although probably should still keep 17 lands in here because we got a lot at 3 mana. We really want to hit that 3 mana and then still good chunk at 4 and 5. Don't know about cutting a land here, but double Modern Age is helpful to hit lands. Draw a card, discard a card twice. Moon Circuit Hacker draws us a card that's helpful to make it there. Thirst for Knowledge, once we have 3 mana, can draw more lands. Prosperous Thief could make treasure. Probably supposed to cut just like a 1 of Searchlight Companion or something. The 1 of Chainflail Centipede. Although again, as I said before, I really like the Searchlight Companion with the Hoverbike. 16 land here. 9 blue, 10 black. 8/8 split. Seems fair to me. Got a little double black, but I don't think it's enough to want to go for a 6/7 split. Or a 6/9 split. I don't know where I got 6/7. Yeah, I think this is going to be the deck. All right, we've got our deck at the ready. Let's get into the Kamigawa Neon Dynasty Limited Arena Open. Game 1 here on the play. Pretty solid looking hand. Definitely going to be a keep. A lot of cheap stuff to start jamming out. I don't know what's greedier. Do we play the Nezumi Prowler and then Ninjutsu the Hacker out because we want to draw a card that badly? Is that greedy, or is it greedier to play the Hacker and then flip the Prowler out to get in a 3 life point swing? If our opponent just plays a 1/1, then we're doing neither of that, and that's all going to be a terrible time because we're never attacking into a 1/1 all game long. Although with high-speed hoverbike, could just play an Azumi Prowler and then hoverbike down the Apprentice to make sure we still hit for 3 next turn. But I can also just cast the Modern Age here, see what we're drawing into, and take like a hit of 1 for a moment here. I'm pretty fine with that. Drop down a Searchlight Companion next turn. Yeah, we'll discard a land here. We don't really have double blue cards in our deck. We have 1 Behold the Unspeakable, whereas in black we have Junji, Twisted Embrace. So double black's probably more likely to come up. Probably go Swamp, Searchlight Companion, and now we have a guaranteed way to trigger our ninjutsu. In the following turn, there's their own high-speed hoverbike. Be a great card to crew with their Iron Apprentice, and now the Searchlight Companion will not be able to attack in if they hold the Iron Apprentice off. We are going to discard the blue source again here, I think. Yeah, I think we are. We play our Searchlight Companion or our Circuit Mender. Now that they can just crew a hoverbike, a Circuit Mender might be more likely to be able to get in. If we play a Searchlight Companion, they crew hoverbike with Apprentice to be able to block. We could flash in a hoverbike for double black to tap it down to make sure we still get in and then play Hacker. We can also kind of do that with Circuit Mender. And if we do that with Circuit Mender, we draw another card. And then this way, even if they don't play a creature and they don't attack, we still could just attack in without tapping something down. We have a 2-3 attacking into a 2-2. Yeah, and I think this is more impactful to bounce. So Commune with Spirits from our opponent, going to grab Azusa's Many Journeys, lets them play an additional land this turn. We'll see if they have one. They do have a 4th land. My apologies. I'm getting a little grizzly here. I'm going to have to grab some water. It has been a long day. Alright, crew the hoverbike and just get in. Alright, I'm going to be very happy with this Circuit Mender's performance here, I think. We're going to spit out a 2-3 flyer with the Modern Age as well, so we've got a good flyer for their hoverbike. In upcoming turns, we've got 3 cards left in hand. We're about to draw approximately 1 million. I think I like ninjutsuing in the Moon Circuit Hacker and slamming down the Searchlight Companion here, just to have a bunch on the board and a bunch of cards in hand. Although, I could also slam down the Hacker and recast the Mender, which is probably better. Draw a card from Circuit Mender, and then we will draw a card from Moon Circuit Hacker hitting them. If we hit the 5th mana for Behold, that will be a huge play in the future. This card is pretty nuts. Draw the card. Dokuchi Shadow Walker, and we will recast the Circuit Mender here. Gain a couple more life. So we have the life total advantage, we have the cards in hand advantage, and the board state advantage. Feeling pretty good so far. Our opponent's still stuck on mono green here. Would be incredibly surprised to see them having played a mono green deck and sealed. That is a pretty rare occurrence. So opponent probably getting pretty unlucky here. Geothermal Kami is the play. They can gain a couple life picking up Azusa's Many Journeys. If they want to do that, then they can recast it and gain more life off it next turn, but they can also leave it on the board so it turns into a 3-3 sooner. Alright, they're just going to gain the life, get some breathing room here. Otawara Soaring City. I do like a 5th mana for our Behold the Unspeakable to be castable in the future, but for now, I think I want a high-speed hoverbike tap down Geothermal Kami, so I know I can attack him with Circuit Mender and Vector Glider freely. They could crew the hoverbike in response to set up a double block on Circuit Mender, I guess, but they couldn't double block Vector Glider, so Vector Glider still gets in. And if a Circuit Mender trades into a hoverbike, it's not that bad of a deal. But what we're hoping for here, the lucky play here would be the Circuit Mender gets to get in unblocked, and we get to ninjutsu off of it again for immense value. Oh, they're going to go for a Tamio's Safekeeping. Well, I'm happy to get that out of the way as well. So that will be indestructible. So now they can just crew to block Vector Glider if they want, which is pretty fine. I don't think I'm ninjutsuing here. I'm just going to hit for 2. Play a Searchlight Companion post-combat. Now we have a great little spirit pilot to crew the hoverbike. This little spirit's got the need for speed. Just driving down this... It's Ghost Rider. It's literally Ghost Rider. Driving down the street, you just see a spirit on a hoverbike just jamming. Alright, Zeus's Many Journeys is back on board, letting them play an additional land this turn, and more importantly, gain a couple more life next turn. They're still on mono green. 13 cards into their library. Could just be a really unfortunate start for our opponent. Alright, pass to our turn. Life of Toshiro Umezawa can get that Iron Apprentice off of the board, putting them to just one creature to block with. However, that one creature is going to be a 5/4. And they can crew in response to me casting life as well. I still think it's a pretty good play here. Could also just buff a flyer for more damage, but I think I'd rather make their board smaller. Alright, counter onto the Geothermal Kami. And we will crew our hoverbike. Attack all. And they probably trade hoverbike for hoverbike and then block Moon Circuit Hacker with Geothermal Kami, where we can then Nezumi Prowler to give the Moon Circuit Hacker Death Touch and Lifelink to kill the Geothermal Kami and draw a card from bouncing our Circuit Mender. Or they do it this way instead and we'll end up bouncing our Searchlight Companion. Also, I just realized, why did I think they were going to trade hoverbike for hoverbike? They did not crew the hoverbike when the Iron Apprentice died, so they're just not blocking with the hoverbike. Alright, luckily for us, they did move their block around, so now we can do the ridiculous Circuit Mender combo again. Just an incredibly rude game altogether. We even draw Junji the Midnight Sky. Alright, we hit for a gajillion. But they are still gaining life from Zeus's Many Journeys. Back up to 19. Network Terminal with a high-speed hoverbike. Make sure they can keep drawing and discarding, but with no creatures on board, you can just keep attacking in. Just jamming in, and there's the concession from our opponent. Just another green source from them off the draw as well. Alright, we are on the play again. Modern Age turn 2, nice big Behold the Unspeakable turn 5. Solid start. Planar Incision looking real awkward in this hand, but otherwise, pretty spicy. Opponent takes a mulligan here down to 6. Really in the think tank about this next keep. And they are going to keep the 6. Get our turn 1 island down. I really need to refill my my water cup before the next round. Opponent is on red. We'll get the Modern Age here. Discard one of our 3 swamps. We are going to need a 5th mana for Behold, but we aren't going to need a 6th, and I think it's pretty likely to draw another one in the next, 4 draw steps. And there we go. Do it again, and yet another land. So we'll discard another swamp here, and we still have the 5 mana. Drop down a Chain Flail Centipede for the turn. Then we'll flip our 2/3 flying, the Modern Age, next turn. So opponent is on Rakdos, an Aki Emberkeeper being the first play, a 2/1 that spits out a 1/1 whenever one of their modified creatures dies. Here is an explosive entry to modify the Aki Emberkeeper. Although it looks like they misclicked and did not get the +1/+1 counter out of it, unfortunately. So we just attack for... Oh, we don't attack with Vector Glider. We just cast the Silencer and hold up a Planar Incision, I think. Yeah, I don't think it's worth holding the Ninjutsu here. Just get another threat onto the board. Hold up a Planar Incision if they want to attempt a removal spell. Cool. And then we'll cast the Behold the Unspeakable next turn. That'll get us back into the game pretty hardcore. Give us a Scry 2, draw 2. Unless we can dump our entire hand, then we will draw 4 instead. So our Silencer is not really going to be attacking in currently, but once we cast Behold the Unspeakable, if they don't have another creature out, they'll just have a 0/1. Well, it looks like another removal spell, just going to really make sure that the Silencer is indeed silenced. So I could cast Searchlight Companion here, hope to top deck a land, then I can cast Behold the Unspeakable with no cards in hand to get the full draw 4, but Scry 2 draw 2 is so close to draw 4 anyway. But I don't need to do the -2 power to everything, so I don't know. I'm just going to slam down a Searchlight Companion here. We're going to get maximum greedy on Behold the Unspeakable, try to get the draw 4 out of it. So if you want to get the draw 4 out of this card, you need to have no cards in hand except Behold the Unspeakable. You cast it, then in your next turn, you draw for turn. So you have 1 card in hand, meaning you have 1 or fewer, and then you draw the full 4. So Clawing Torment from our opponent, going to make our Vector Glider just a 1/2 here. But it is still a flyer, although it cannot block now. Circuit Mender is a pretty great draw. We'll just keep playing everything that we have that isn't Behold the Unspeakable, so we can keep adding to our board state rather than setting up card draws, and then when we do finally hit the card draw, we'll draw 4 cards total. Should be super spicy. If we draw some kind of removal spell, I'm not going to blow up their 2/1, I'll just play the Behold at that point, rather than repeatedly just trying to jam out our whole hand. Alright, so they are down to 15. Let's gain a couple life and have a blocker up to block that Ember Keeper if they want to crack back at us. 5 mana from our opponent, 2 cards in hand here. Clawing Torment's going to mitigate our Circuit Mender as well. So they're going to go for the race, a single 2/1 versus multiple Clawing Tormented creatures. It could happen. Moon Circuit Hacker's a beautiful draw here. Absolutely stunning, because now we get to bounce our Circuit Mender, get rid of the Clawing Torment on it, so we don't take that damage anymore, plus we draw a card when Circuit Mender goes to hand, plus we draw a card when Moon Circuit Hacker hits our opponent. Absolutely beautiful. We draw a second Circuit Mender just in case, but we'll just play the first one. And of course, by bouncing the Circuit Mender, we're also recasting it, gaining more life, making sure the Clawing Torments will not claw out a victory for our opponent. Ninja's Kunai, and there is the concession. Just a rough mulligan for our opponent. A mull to 6, and then they really thought about it for quite a while, so a hand they were not too happy with, and certainly didn't play out well for them. That said, mulling to 5 is often just a death sentence, so just a rough couple draws for our opponent will give us the 2-0 to start off this event. Another incredibly solid hand here. This one, again, a bit slow. 2 5-drops in the hand, but they are incredibly, impactful when we get to them. Plus, the 2-drop we want to play is not a creature, so a really slow hand. If our opponent is some kind of red aggressive deck, I'll be pretty worried. Although I guess we can just jam out a Moon Circuit Hacker and not ninjutsu it if we really need to block. Double the Modern Age here. Probably just start jamming them down. Use them to make sure we make it to 5 mana, because if we make it to 5 mana, we've got massive plays. Even to the point where I'm probably not playing Moon Circuit Hacker. I'm probably just discarding it to play another Modern Age and make sure I still have all these lands. Yeah. I'm legitimately just going to discard the Moon Circuit Hacker to cast a second copy of the Modern Age next turn. And then if I draw, a 5th or 6th mana, then we'll start discarding lands. So there's the 5th mana already. So if we draw a 6th one, we'll discard it. We'll definitely discard Planar Incision here, although it is really good with Junji. That could be absolutely nuts, but it's not going to be necessary, because Junji does a lot when it dies. Behold the Unspeakable is going to draw us like 4. I feel like it's the least necessary card in our hand. We definitely need 5 mana. And if we draw 6, we can discard it to the next Modern Age that we play. Yeah. Seems like the least important card in hand. So here's another copy of the Modern Age. Searchlight Companion. We need all 5 of this mana. Probably discarding Searchlight Companion, even though it would be our only play next turn. Yeah, I'm going to do it. We could risk it for the biscuit, just discard one of the lands, and then if we draw 1 land out of the next 3, we still have 5 mana turn 5, because we draw 2 cards next turn and then 1 card on turn 5. We do hit another land here, unfortunately, so keeping the Searchlight Companion would have been beautiful. But now we can just discard the Swamp and hold Otawara as a spell, which is pretty cool. Actually, discard an island here. One more black mana than blue mana, I suppose. And we do have the mana to channel Otawara. If our opponent plays something scary next turn, we'll just put it right back in their hand. Greater Tanuki is getting channeled to get our opponent their 4th mana. They are on green and black so far. Green, black, and white. Five mana up. Are they going to drop down some kind of big 5-mana creature? I would love to see it. Unless it has a great enter the battlefield effect. If it's just like a Sunblade Sentinel or something, I'd be happy with that. Just channel our Otawara here. Goshintai of Hidden Cruelty. Still big enough to just bounce that. Because it does soak up all of their mana this turn because they slap a kunai onto it, so it'll just soak up all their mana again next turn. Alright. Now we've got another 2/3 flyer, and we just slam down a big old spooky mythic rare dragon. Best card in our deck is on the board. Unfortunately, no animation for it. That would have been really cool. Would have loved to see that. But Arena has been putting a lot more cards onto Arena lately, so they seem to have less time to make as many animations, unfortunately. But I would have loved to see Junji come out of the midnight sky there. So if they kill that, we can either get our Searchlight Companion Moon Circuit Hacker back or make them discard 2 and lose 2 life. Don't know which is better here. They seem to be stuck on mana, so I think everything in their hand is non-land. So I think just making them discard 2 should be pretty solid. I'll probably do that. Over just getting 2 power on the board. Like we're getting a 2/1 on the board or we're getting 2 1/1s. So I think if they kill Junji with something that makes it die instead of exiles it, we'll just have them discard a couple. Alright, just cast Goshintai, equip the kunai again. We attack for 9 in the sky, put them to 9 life. Seems good. We could even use a Prosperous Thief here, Ninjutsu, and recast one of these Vector Gliders, but I would rather just keep flying creatures on the board so that we still have just exact lethal next turn. And I think I'd rather Scry 2, draw 2, or just get another just a little aggro creature out right now. I think I want another creature here. Question is between Circuit Mender or Prosperous Thief. Circuit Mender is more likely to survive Goshintai. If they cast like the white Goshintai or the green Goshintai, they could just kill it. But I guess if they do that, they die to the flyers. Yeah. I'm going to cast the higher power creature. It's more likely to die to the Goshintai of Hidden Cruelty's effect. To blow up a creature with X toughness, where X is the number of shrines they have. But if they spend their turn playing a shrine and then blowing up Prosperous Thief, they die in the sky, so I probably shouldn't be worried about that. And again, if they spend the turn just like blowing up a ground creature with a Ninja's Kunai instead of a flyer, then it's also mega bad for them. Alright, so blow up Junji. We get a creature back from our grave, which would be a 1 toughness creature they can blow up with the Goshintai, so let's not do that. Let's just make them discard 2, lose 2 life, I think. And then they get to... They can only use the kunai to kill something here. So they're going to kill a Vector Glider and take 5, I think. Although they can Ninja's Kunai during our turn. Which means if we attack all, they get to block the Prosperous Thief and blow up a Vector Glider. Even if we cast Behold the Unspeakable, that is pretty painful. Oh no! This pulls from any graveyard? I should have taken their Greater Tanuki. That'd have been a win on the spot. That was a big misplay. It's not just your graveyard. We could have taken their Tanuki. And then they're definitely dead. That was a huge misplay. Let's always be holding here. So we kill their Goshintai at the cost of 2 of our creatures. Their Ninja's Kunai trades into Glider. And the Goshintai itself trades into Prosperous Thief. But then they're down to just their cards in hand here. And our Behold the Unspeakable is going to scry 2, draw 2. And we still have a 2/3 flyer on board after this. If we lose this game, that was entirely on me. Definitely should have taken their Greater Tanuki with Junji the Midnight Sky. Six mana from our opponent now. They can start casting some Tanukis, but Tanukis would be on the ground. They'd keep taking flying damage. Gonna exile Behold. They're reading it. It does turn into a big flyer eventually. Alright, Greater Tanuki it is. We put them down to 3. Scry 2, draw 2 here. Virus Beetle and the Shadow Walker. Those are both great. Yeah, I love the Virus Beetle here for sure. Oh yeah, Shadow Walker's immediate lethal. Yeah, we draw these 2. Because we ninjutsu in for 5. unblocked 5-power creature. Excellent draw off the top. And never punished for the big Junji misplay. 3-0 now. Round 4 now after our 3-0 start with another great start. Modern Age into Searchlight Companion for turn 2, turn 3. Probably discarding this Planar Incision again. This card has yet to be that spicy. But we don't want to run a deck with 23 creatures and nothing else, so Planar Incision, here it is. Draw a discard here. If I draw a 5th land, yeah, with a 5th land, because I need to specifically draw another island, I'm going to discard a swamp here. Because even if we have 5 lands in hand, if we don't have double blue, we're not playing our 1/5 drop anyway, so we might as well discard the 5th land that doesn't actually help cast the 5 drop and keep the Incision. So again, I'm discarding the 5th swamp. And here's our Searchlight Companion. We have the hover bike to go with it as well. Ghost Rider back on the board soon enough. So a little worried here. We don't have a lot of pressure against an opponent that is blue-green ramp with Network Terminal. So they're going to make it to their high mana cost to play some big stuff. We're probably going to have to play Otawara to cast Behold the Unspeakable, but just in case we top deck an island next turn, we'll play our swamp first, I think. And for now, we hover bike to tap down the Thousand-Faced Shadow and be able to get in with everybody. But if they want to trade this card for a 1/1, I'm pretty happy with that, right? When it enters the battlefield from your hand, if it's attacking, create a token. Yes, if they can put it back in their hand and ninjutsu with it, they can do spicy things. They probably can't. Yeah, I'm just going to tap it down, make sure we're getting in here. And we, of course, have blockers. We have a 2/3 flying blocker. If they try to tap that down or kill it, we can crew the hover bike in response. So we still have a 2/2 flying blocker to block the 1/1. Just get in for a little bit of damage here. Crack the Mnemonic Sphere to draw a couple cards. 3 mana up. Azusa's Many Journeys it is. We'll see if they have another land in hand. Definitely ramping up. If they have cards like the Island Turtle and stuff, we're going to have a very bad time. Or the Mirror Shell Crab would be very big as well. We do have another land in hand, and Network Disruptor's the play. Easy crew. Keep them off the attack. And we go to our turn. I don't really want to Incision here. I think it's time for Otawara and to Behold the Unspeakable. Yep, now they have basically 0 blocks. Could crew Hoverbike to get in for more damage because they'll still be 0 power. Yep, so slightly more damage this way. We don't have to worry about blocking. Unless they ninjutsu something in. I guess they could ninjutsu something. No, I should have held a 1/1 flyer back, so they can't. If they have a ninjutsu card in hand, they can ninjutsu when the Thousand-Faced Shadow gets in unblocked, and then ninjutsu the Thousand-Faced Shadow back onto the board too, and like double up there. It's just spicy. Although they have to have 2 attacking creatures to use this. So yeah, the worst that can happen is they ninjutsu something else on board. They can't like re-ninjutsu the Shadow and get a copy of anything because they'll only have 1 attacking creature. But if they have like the 4 mana ninjutsus as a 6/5 thing, that'd be horrible for us. Alright, no ninjutsu. And Virus Beetle here's a great draw. Life of Toshiro Misawa is a fantastic draw. Excellent. We'll kill both their 1/1 flyers with that over time. And a Chainflail Centipede coming up. Very happy with how things are going here. They're probably out of mana in hand, so Virus Beetle should be pretty annoying to them. I think I'm definitely playing it this turn and using it to crew our hover bike. See what we rip out of their hand with the Virus Beetle. Master's Rebuke is gone. Happy to see that. Now we'll Life of Toshiro Umezawa pre-combat to get rid of their 1 flying blocker. Then we'll crew the hover bike. Send in the sky. still with access to the mana we need for planar incision, if necessary. They are down to 11 now. Zeus's Many Journeys is now flipping to a 3-3, so they have a 3-3, a 2-4, and a 1-1 flyer. 2 cards in hand. We've got 2 Sagas doing some disastrous things. Next turn, Life of Toshiro Umezawa kills the Network Disruptor. Next turn, Behold the Unspeakable flips into a big old flyer, although it'll only be like a 2-2 flying trample, but still. The main value of Behold the Unspeakable are the first 2 modes, mainly the second mode, Scry 2, Draw 2 being huge, or Draw 4. So just Scry 2, Draw 2 for 5 mana, and then spit out a 1-1 or a 2-2. Pretty good. And is generally how Behold plays out. Alright, opponent is in the think tank here. They're in a very bad position with these Sagas about to pop off. So gotta see if they can find any way out of this. That is a pass to combat and a pass to our turn. Got -1/-1. First things first. Get rid of the flyer here. They're going to go ahead and tap that to draw a card and discard a card. Planar Incision is going to be really fancy with our Behold the Unspeakable, because it's going to be a pretty small creature, so it might be worth it to just flicker it to get -2/-0 out of nowhere, and then draw a couple cards. So we could Chainflail Centipede here too. Yeah, because the Vision's not attacking this turn anyway. I think we want to go Chainflail Centipede. Reconfigure onto a flyer. Crew the Hoverbike. Unfortunately, in order to play the lands that I need to hold up Incision here, I can't cast Incision on Vision, because if I cast Incision on Vision, then Vision will die. Because it'll be a 0/0 before this resolves. It'll just go straight to the grave. So we'll have no cards left in hand. So Incision for Vision was not what I was fishing for. I'm on a mission. But we've got a revision to the previous plan. I don't know, I tried. My apologies. Yeah, we don't want to cast Incision, because then we lose the Vision. I'm not trying, I swear to God. I tried that one time, now I'm just trying to get back into commentary mode of the normal fashion. That's scary, but I think we lethal them still. Not quite. They have 3 blockers. Block our 3 biggest creatures. Go block, 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 take 1/2. Yeah, no, we don't. Lethal them. That is a deal. That is a big deal. Okay, now we are more likely to lethal them if we just take this 3. Now they only have 2 blockers. And we could have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 attackers. 6 attackers against 2 blockers. They block the 4/2 and the 2/3 and take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not lethal, but close. Ooh, the Modern Age. What am the plan? We probably attack all. We unattach. Attack all, put them to like 1. And just planar Incision whatever they try to kill. To keep it on board. Oh, they just scoop them up. Because what? They go 2/4 on the 4/2. They go flyer on the flyer, take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, go to 1 life. So yeah, they'd go to 1 life, and that's requiring them losing the Technician so they can actually block a flyer. So they go to 1 life with only 2 creatures left on their board. And then we could save the flyer with planar Incision. Yeah. Wasn't going to be immediate lethal, but functionally lethal. 4-0. Here we are, round 5 now in the Arena Open event with this excellent blue-black ninjutsu deck and a pretty great starting hand again. Nothing turn 2, but we start playing some fancy cards turn 3, and we've got our big bomb when we get to 5 mana. I've got a great card to ninjutsu with our Searchlight Companion there. Opponent is on red-white. They do start with a turn 2 Patchwork Automaton. So our opponent on the play and has the 2-drop into the Ninja's Kunai to buff it up. So a bit worried about a quick start from our opponent here, plus an Aki Ronin. So we do get punished for the no 2-drops here with an aggressive start from our opponent. I could play a Searchlight Companion here so that Gravelighter's pretty active next turn. That could be helpful, but then I do take 3 damage. I don't have any good blocks. I could play a Gravelighter right now instead, but then Gravelighter just trades for Aki Ronin. If I play a Virus Beetle, I'm not doing much else. So let's just play a Searchlight Companion here, because yeah, Virus Beetle just isn't blocking at all, and it isn't setting up any future plays. So let's get the Searchlight Companion down. So Boros deck from our opponent with multiple 2-drops to start with and a Ninja's Kunai already on board as some removal. We're certainly hoping to survive to the long game and win the long game with some high-impact cards like Junji the Midnight Sky and Twisted Embrace. Let's see how things go here. It is turn 4 for our opponent. They are going to attack with exclusively the Aki Ronin to discard a card to draw a card. Looks like flooded out a bit there. Discard a land to draw a card. We'll take the 1 damage down to 17. So luckily Searchlight Companion did at least convince them not to attack with Automaton, or maybe just their hand did. Maybe they just wanted to draw discard that badly. So we'll go ahead and play our Gravelighter now. They can counter it by using Ninja's Kunai, but they don't fully counter it that way. They just make it so we draw a card off of it instead of killing one of their creatures. So if we play Gravelighter, we get the Ninja's Kunai out of the way. At least with Ninja's Kunai active here, we can't go for a ninjutsu. If we try to ninjutsu with Dokuchi's Shadow Walker, they will just, they'll kill the companion in response. I think that's how it works, right? They get priority after you ninjutsu your creature, and your opponent tries to shock your routes after blockers are declared, and assuming they are unblocked, they can do the ninjutsu. This is going to go really badly for me if it doesn't work how I think it does. I think I can ninjutsu, and if I ninjutsu, it's just already in my hand by the time I do the thing. That being said, I don't even really want to ninjutsu that badly. I just hit for 5, which is cool. Yep, okay. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. Yeah, they can't just kill it in response. They can go ahead and blow up our 1/1 now and hit us for 5. We're down to 12. But then we have a 5/5 to be blocking with on future turns, which is pretty nice. So I'm going for this over the Gravelighter play, because again, Gravelighter, they would respond by killing our 1/1 flyer, and then Gravelighter would just let us draw a card. Oh wait, no, they'd respond by killing Gravelighter itself. So it'd be stuck with a 1/1 and a 1/1 flyer. They kill Gravelighter. Gravelighter makes us draw a card because a creature died this turn, instead of making them sacrifice a creature. So I think this is better. I think this is better, because now we'll have an untapped 5/5 to block with, so that we know we're surviving the long game. And we kind of auto-win the long game here with Junji, Twisted Embrace, Virus Beetle even's pretty good against them at this point. They're already pretty low on cards. Attack with these two, we'll take 3. Down to 14. They do have Intercessor's Arrest on the Shadow Walker. 2 cards in hand. I doubt they would hold a land there when they have Kunai on board right now, so I really want a Virus Beetle, to the point where I kind of want to Virus Beetle Gravelighter. I could just slam down Junji, but I feel like it's better to try to get all their removal out of the way. Plus they have no flying, so we're just going to have quite the board state to just be blocking with. So let's just Virus Beetle here. Gravelighter's really good since they've arrested a card. Oh, we got rid of Imperial Oath. That's pretty nice. So yeah, now we Gravelighter. Sacrifice Shadow Walker, actually. They sacrifice a creature. They can sack the Ember Keeper and get a 1/1 out of it since it is modified. They could also get a 1/1 out of the Automaton, but that's likely to get bigger later, so it seems they don't want to do that. All right. They have a Kunai and 2 cards in hand. We have a lot of stuff in hand. Still actually don't have that much on board, to be fair. Our board state is still probably a little worse than theirs. Let's see what their trick is here. Probably +1/+0 to everybody, or +2/+0 to everybody draw a card, something like that. Whatever their trick is, we're pretty fine with it. No enchantment, so just +2/+2 to 2 things. Now they're down to just Ninja's Kunai, no cards in hand. Yeah, I think we're pretty good. We're facing a 2-2, a 1-1, and a 1-3 with a million cards in hand. Yeah, I think they have to draw really well. Yeah, they have to draw like super, super well to get out of this now. Just drop that and pass turn. Selfless Samurai. When a creature attacks alone, it gains lifelink. So you can attack him with Patchwork Automaton alone. It'll be a lifelinker. Oh wait, no, it's only Samurai and Warrior that get lifelink. All right. So Searchlight Companion for sure to set up ninjutsus in the future. Nothing on board we really want to kill that bad. Do we want to attack in now? We're at 13 life. Seems safe enough. Play something to just kind of chill and block with. I'd rather just chill and block with a Silencer than a Nezumi Prowler because it has a better enter the battlefield effect for us. And we have 2 removal spells in hand to just use instead of the Silencer's ability. So Selfless Samurai can... Okay, I was going to say Selfless Samurai can attack alone and do wild things. So they probably have another like +2/+2 to everybody thing. And try to just find lethal on us here. Just play it nice and safe like this. Just take 1. Yep, feels good. We still have the flyer around to ninjutsu again. No lifelink because they didn't attack alone. Yep, +2/+2 to 2 creatures again. So now we ninjutsu the Prowler out to gain 5 life on this attack to be nice and healthy, and then recast Searchlight Companion for 2 more blockers. Feels pretty excellent. So we're going to gain 5, be at 17 life, and have 2 more 1/1s to block with here. Send in with just the Samurai to gain some life. Discard and draw, see if they find an out. They're up to 4, no flying blockers. Even if they had 2, we could remove one of them because Junji does have Menace. Get rid of Nezumi Prowler and scoop them up. That is now 5-0, still undefeated. So now the worst case scenario, we are getting 1,000 gems back out of this, although we did spend 5,000, but still nice to have a little bit of breathing room here. I accidentally muted myself a little too long there, so apologies for not saying anything in the intro of this video here. Playing against a black-green deck now. Super excellent keep here. Love the Life of Toshiro Umezawa if they play any 1 toughness stuff. Love the Modern Age if they don't. I think we slammed on Modern Age. We could also go for the Moon Circuit Hacker, but I am very greedy with that card. Let's just play the Modern Age first. Wait to see if we can ninjutsu the Hacker. All our hand is only like 3 mana or less, so I could see discarding a land here, but also Hoverbike doesn't seem super great here. Nothing that we just want to crew the Hoverbike all the time. Yeah, we'll get rid of the Hoverbike. We're going to want this mana later when we hit 5 drops. We're not going to want the Hoverbike out till we got some expendable creatures to sit here crewing it. Okay, now Planar Incision or land. Planar Incision again, it doesn't do much, but neither does a 5th land currently. Get our Chainflail Centipede out. It's going to be the most aggressive attacker on an empty board state. Greater Tanuki is getting channeled to pull out a land from our opponent's deck. They are green, black, and white. And a Boseiju who reaches skyward here. That will spit out a big, gigantic reach creature eventually. Hopefully by then we'll have drawn the removal to deal with it. Thirst for Knowledge is a pretty great draw here. Nice big draw spell. We're probably just trying to jam in as aggressively as possible. I don't think I want to ninjutsu my Moon Circuit Hacker here, so I kind of like Life of Toshiro Umezawa and just hardcast the Moon Circuit Hacker. Because then we're just pressuring for more damage as quickly as possible. Try to kill them before Boseiju really goes off. Yeah, I think that's our plan here. Attack for 6, down to 14, and put another threat on the board. Could also just hold on to Incision here. So even if they have removal they plan to use, we can mess it up. But then if they just drop down some big blocker, Incision doesn't do anything for us. Yeah, our creatures aren't that big of threats to remove. So we'll just play the Hacker, spread out our threats. 6 mana, Imperial Oath. Unfortunately, a ton of 2/2s. That makes our Gravelighter very bad. So we just trade one of our creatures into a 2/2 Vigilance. So now we'll just start hitting in the sky. We can move this Centipede around onto our Flyer, plus give the +2 power to the Flyer. Definitely glad I just slammed down the Hacker here over playing Incision, but at the same time, had we... could actually make Centipede big enough they can't block it anymore if we go Twisted Embrace this turn. That might be stupid, but it's also cool. Right? We make it a 5/5 and kill a 2/2. But then we're out of removal, and they're going to play a gigantic reach land thing. And we should probably save the removal for the gigantic reach land thing. Yeah, no. Let's save the removal to kill the reach creature here. Hold up a Planar Incision and just slam in for 6 this turn, put them down to 8 life. Yeah, I think that's where I'm at. And we could all of a sudden unattach the Chainflail Centipede with Planar Incision and make it a 3/3 to block one of the Samurai, just kill one out of nowhere. Might even be the best use of our Incision if they don't try to just kill Vector Glider here. Although if they do try to kill Vector Glider, if we bounce it, it's not going to be a 2/3 flyer anymore, it's just going to be a Saga again. So yeah, that's probably the best use we're going to have for our Planar Incision. Because we're not going to be able to keep flying power on the board with it. Fade into Antiquity to exile Vector Glider. Well... now, again, we could start drawing and discarding off of it and get a flyer out of it again eventually. Don't think I want to do that, though. They just passed turn. All right, they played around it. So rude. Ooh, Behold the Unspeakable. We do need another mana for that. But still pretty good. They are holding multiple mana up to potentially counter our Twisted Embrace with an instant speed removal spell. If they have Master's Rebuke in hand, that would be pretty horrible for us. Kind of like a Thirst for Knowledge here, see if we can draw some lands. Twisted Embrace is risky, but it is our best play if they don't have interaction. Let's just move. They have interaction. Because I waited for them. Yeah, they probably have Master's Rebuke in hand. So let's definitely not Twisted Embrace. Oh, just hold up Planar Incision or Thirst for Knowledge. But if I hit a land this turn off of Thirst for Knowledge, then I am playing it immediately, and also potentially playing Planar Incision. But I don't need to have 6 mana out next turn, although it would let me do Embrace plus Incision or something like that. I think I pass and just hold on to the instance. Try to set up a big Behold the Unspeakable if we can. Actually, Incisioning Memory of Toshiro is pretty threatening too, to get more +2/+2 triggers out of it. Playing it nice and safe here, go straight to main phase 2, cast a Kappa Tech Wrecker. Wow, that would have destroyed me. Card is pretty solid. Still pretty great just as a blocker, 1/3 Death Toucher here. Alright, pass turn. Let's thirst for knowledge here. Oof, only draw one land. But that's the one land we need, so we probably go discard discard Incision, let's be honest. Discard Incision and the Modern Age, or Silencer? Incision and Silencer, because if we're getting it unblocked, we're getting it unblocked. We don't need to ninjutsu, because we're getting it unblocked. Yeah. Tamiyo's Completion is the draw to shut off their blocker, even if they have instant speed removal. Shut off their flying blockers, so that is really good. But we're going to Behold the Unspeakable first here. And then we want to start setting up some flyers with the Modern Age Gravelighter. And then once we have those flyers set up, we'll Tamiyo's Completion the Branch of Boseiju and try to find lethal through flyers. So my apologies for no audio today. The audio kept playing 2 songs at once for me, so I got a little annoyed with it. So just to make it extra stressful, it's nice and silent. It's just the game sounds. And these games have been so wild that I haven't even noticed until now that I left it like that. So Mukotai Abasher from our opponent. Lifelinker here is very big. It's a very big deal. So what are we doing here? We have the 6 mana to just slam down a 5/5 if we want. The flyer we get out of a Behold the Unspeakable is going to be very big. So they're probably planning to kill that with a Master's Rebuke of some kind. We can't really counter a Master's Rebuke because they'll have a Death Toucher out at all times. They'll have a 7/7 out at all times, even if we tap one down. So I think we probably do just slam down a 5/5 for the turn. It's between that and play the Modern Age, so we get another flyer out sometime soon. That actually is nice. A Searchlight Companion is such a beautiful draw. I like that a lot. Get a flyer out right now. Get an expendable creature for Gravelighter. Tales of Master Sashiro. Give something vigilance till end of turn really big. Give the lifelinker a +1/+1 counter vigilance. Alright. Well, let's see what kind of trick they have here. We're going to lose our 1/1 and our 2/1, I guess. We can block like this. And then we still lose both creatures. What am I on about? Yeah, 2/1 and 1/1 it is. Unless they play a trick. They play a trick, they gain a bunch of life. That's the most threatening thing about it. We don't mind too much that we lose these creatures to a trick. Alright. So the trade does happen. We are down to 12 now. Get our big creature off Behold the Unspeakable. They don't have any green mana up, so even if it dies to a Master's Rebuke, it doesn't die right now. Okay. 6 mana. We can spend 3 mana on Gravelighter and then still have 4 mana up to Tamiyo's Completion in the future. I kind of want to Tamiyo's Completion first, though, which is a problem, because if I Tamiyo's Completion and then they sacrifice their branch, then I've, sacrificed a creature for nothing. Yeah, I actually don't have anything I really want to sacrifice to the Gravelighter anymore, because I have the Searchlight Companion. That can get in when we shut off the branch. And that's our most expendable creature. I don't want to sacrifice a 2/3 against a bunch of 2/2s. Do we just Tamiyo's Completion the branch and pass? Let's play our land for the turn. Let's move on. Not going to combat this turn, I think. And then I guess I will still Gravelighter here and sack the Companion. Kind of just upgrading the Searchlight Companion into a 2/2 flyer instead of a 1/1 flyer, and then we're still holding up all the mana we need to Tamiyo's Completion during their turn. Again, they have something in hand for double black and 1. It could be just destroy target creature at instant speed, which ruins the Twisted Embrace for removal. Doesn't ruin Tamiyo's completion, and in green there is a hexproof till end of turn card, so maybe we're supposed to completion before we pass to their turn. I don't think so though, because now we can tap down whatever they put the counter on. I guess they'll probably put the counter on the Tech Wrecker, and then we have to double block and lose 2 creatures. That is painful. But if we tap down the branch, then they definitely put the counter on the Kappa Tech Wrecker. Oh, nice. Put it on a Samurai. I'm very fine with that. Go to combat here, attack with the Samurai, I suppose. We lose our... losing Chainful Centipede is a big deal when we can attach it to a flyer. But I think it's not a big enough deal to not do the double block, and we're definitely not wanting to lose a flyer. We'd rather lose Chainful Centipede than a flyer. That's for certain. When we have the Shadow Walker in hand to surprise deal 5 damage if a flyer gets in unblocked. Shouldn't I have shared purpose? Sure. They'll start getting 1/1s on the ground, so we are all in on getting there in the sky. Now we'll attempt to complete the Branch of Boseiju. Assassin's Ink is their card in hand. That was instant speed. Oh, I didn't even realize it shuts off its abilities, so it becomes a 0/0. I always forget about that interaction. So we can attack with Gravelighter, pick it up with the Shadow Walker to hit them for 5 unblocked, but then we have to cast a Gravelighter with no expendable creatures. So I think we're just casting Searchlight Companion this turn, honestly. I guess we can play Twisted Embrace as well if we want to do extra damage to them. Just 1 extra damage here. They're at 12, so they die in 3 attacks. If we play a Searchlight Companion, then we have 5 flying power on the board, but we hit them for 2. Actually, they don't die in 3 attacks, because we hit for 2, then we hit for 5, then we hit for 5. Actually, yeah, that is 3 attacks. 2, 5, 5. That's lethal even without Twisted Embrace, so I don't think we Twisted Embrace. We do have the mana to ninjutsu out the Shadow Walker and play the Companion, and play the Gravelighter again. But if we play the Gravelighter again, we're trading something into a 1/1, which is bad. That is a bad deal. So, you know, let's hedge our bets, cut it right down the middle. We'll still ninjutsu in for 5 damage, but then we'll play Searchlight Companion first. And now we have a 1/1 to sacrifice to Gravelighter when we want to recast that. We hit for 3 in the sky on our next attack, then we hit for 4 in the sky the attack after that, thanks to Twisted Embrace or Gravelighter, so they are dead in 2 attacks. I'm just going to take 5 here, down to 15. The only way that could go wrong is if they have another Kappa Tech Wrecker, which is an uncommon, but that would be pretty disastrous for us actually, because they exile our Vector Glider when it hits us by exiling an artifact or enchantment with the Kappa Tech Wrecker's ability. So we were pretty fingers crossed they didn't have that. Naomi's scary, but they don't have an artifact out, so she's not spitting out 2/1s right now. Nezumi Prowler's great. That'll hit for an extra 3 damage in the sky. We pick up the Searchlight Companion, so we are hitting for 5 damage this turn and definitely lethal next turn, and we're gaining 3 life thanks to the lifelink. So we should be incredibly likely to just have lethal next turn. They're down to 2 now, so I think we'd rather play another 2-power flyer than the 1-power flyer here. Now all we got to do is make sure we don't die this attack, or if they have a Wrath, if they have a bunch of life gain, they can get out of this. But otherwise they need 2 removal spells, or a reach creature and a removal spell, or a flyer and a removal spell. Something to block both of these 2-power flyers. 3 cards in hand, 2 life total. Tons and tons of stuff on the ground, but it adds up to 14 damage, which isn't lethal. Twisted Embrace, that's 15 damage, still not lethal, and they need another removal spell or a flyer to survive another attack. They could be trying to find lethal here. They could have the +5/+5 instant speed combat trick, since they have a card with mana value 5, but looks like they're just trying to survive by killing one of our flyers. Play a Geothermal Kami to gain some life, that'll do it. Pick up the Twisted Embrace too, absolutely disgusting. That is really bad for us, because now they can kill our next flyer by recasting Twisted Embrace next turn. That actually might just win them the game here. Oh god, yeah, no, it really does. So they can kill Gravelighter, but they can't kill Gravelighter and Searchlight Companion, so we'll still have 1 flyer left. And they'll be at 3 life. We can make that flyer 2 power. Make both our flyers 2 power here. And if they attack back in any way where I can hit them with a single creature, they die. And we're going to have a lot of creatures, so they can't really attack back at us. So I think I play Companion and Embrace right now, so they can't Embrace onto Sashiro and attack with a big old Vigilance creature. So they can only embrace something that isn't Vigilant. I guess Goshintai is Vigilant, but we can block that with a 5/5. Yeah, I think I go Companion Embrace on the Companion. So they're both 2/2s. And they just kill one of the 2/2s here. Plays poorly if they draw into a reach creature or flyer, but it puts them under an immense amount of pressure to do so. It makes it so they really can't counterattack and whittle down our board at all. So they die in 2 attacks now. Blow up one of the flyers, die in 2 attacks. 1 attack if we draw a ninjutsu card, that's good. Alright, put it on the Kami, destroy the Gravelighter. 2 cards in hand here. Fang of Shigeki, a Death Toucher on the ground, pretty nice. They do attack with Geothermal Kami here. As a 5/4 attacker, they have 3, 4, 5, 6 total blockers. We have 5 attackers. Trade Shadow Walker, but other than that, we lose 2 creatures to kill that 1. That seems bad to me. I think we take the 5. Oh yeah, and they'll have another blocker from that too. There's Dokuchi Shadow Walker for lethal. Excellent draw. That will lead us into 6-0 now as we head into round 7, which could very well be the final boss of the Kamigawa Arena Open. 2,500 gems now, no matter what, only losing half of the entry fee. But now we're in for the stressful games. Trying to grab that 7-win run, trying to get that qualification for day 2. Here we are now. We are on the draw with a 2-land hand, but we have 2 2-mana cards. Again, we're on the draw. If we hit a 3rd land, we get to drop a Circuit Mender, which is excellent, helps us draw more lands. Thirst for Knowledge as well, helps us get to the mana we need. I am definitely going to keep this hand, and we'll see how it does for us in round 7. We do immediately draw another land, Otawara, Soaring City. Our opponent is on white here. We've got a plains and an island from them. Blue-white with Containment Construct, turn 2. Containment Construct will either do very little or it will absolutely destroy us. If they play the Modern Age turn 3, the Modern Age is now draw 2 and make a 2/3 flyer. A pretty unbeatable rate. So let's certainly hope for no Modern Age from our opponent here. That is the kind of 2-card Splinter Twin combo with Containment Construct that is responsible for ending a lot of games of draft. Alright, they play land for turn, so I doubt the Modern Age is coming down here, because usually you would play that before your land per turn, discard the land to the Modern Age, and play it off of the Containment Construct. Armed Guard Familiar is the play, and they pass the turn here. Circuit Mender is going to be really spicy if it gets an unblocked. But Searchlight Companion kind of guarantees we get something in unblocked, so we know we get ninjutsu going. I think I would rather play the Searchlight Companion because it's just more likely to pop off. Because if they play another creature, we're not really doing the Circuit Mender thing. Plus now we have a nice 1/1 to block their 2/1s. But yeah, like Circuit Mender attacking into 2/2/1s very likely could pop off. But as you can see, they have played a 3/3, so that will stop either of the cards we wanted to play. Had we had a Circuit Mender on board, we wouldn't be getting in. Now with the Searchlight Companion, we're not getting in either. So, do we play the Modern Age and do we Nezumi Prowler on our flyer to just get in? I mean, it guarantees we get a ninjutsu out of it, but we don't have anything to ninjutsu if we hardcast the Prowler, so I don't think we do. So the question really is between like Thirst for Knowledge, Modern Age, and Circuit Mender is what we want to play. I'm pretty good to just Thirst for Knowledge. We don't really need to expand our board state here, do we? So at that rate, we might as well Modern Age, so that if we draw a 2-drop immediately, we can just play that instead. Yeah, we could maybe play Nezumi Prowler still, just without doing its fancy stuff. We do draw Moon Circuit Hacker. Hacker plus Prowler is a pretty good combo. Might even discard Thirst for Knowledge. That seems like it's probably wrong. Maybe discard Shadow Walker here and just set up for next turn. Next turn we play Nezumi Prowler on the Searchlight Companion and then ninjutsu out the Moon Circuit Hacker. We've got a Gonjo Seat of the Empire. They've got their own nice channel land there. Yeah, I think we're just trying to get max value out of this hand. Just draw a million cards here. Dig for our big bomb-style threats. Network Disruptor, that's going to be very good for our opponent here. They're going to draw a card, discard a card, and tap down our flyer to hit for 3. Wow, and it completely shuts off our ninjutsu plan too. Because now they have a 1/1 flyer to block with, so even if I give Death Touch Lifelink to Searchlight Companion, they'll just be like, okay, I'll block with a 1/1 flyer. And we'll just straight trade there. This has been a pretty good lineup from our opponent to stop our early game plans. The Sky Swimmer Koi definitely going to pop off, making sure they can keep drawing, discarding, setting up their future plays, filtering to what cards they need. Oh, they were splashing in Jugan Defends the City. Jugan Defends the Temple, that is. But they don't have the mana for it, so that'll be that. So draw discard here, probably discard Prosperous Thief. We're just never ninjutsuing in, and we don't really need the counters. I guess at that rate we might as well discard Moon Circuit Hacker because we're just never ninjutsuing in. But we can drop it for 2 mana, so we can play Virus Beetle plus Hacker here. Just hold on to the Prowler for later. Yeah, I kind of like getting rid of Prosperous Thief, just doesn't seem like it's going to do anything. So it's Virus Beetle and hope our opponent doesn't have a 3 mana or less white instant to cast off their Containment Construct. And the Containment Construct is popping off with Sky Swimmer Koi, even if they didn't get the Modern Age combo to go with it. Discards an Imperial Oath. That would have been a huge play when they had 6 mana, so happy to hit that off the Virus Beetle. We definitely just passed the turn here. So far, so good. Pretty even board states. This is shaping up to be a long one. So worried to see what our opponent could draw into, especially because they have the Sky Swimmer Koi comboing off here. Drawing them extra cards every time they play an artifact, potentially not even making them discard because of their Containment Construct. If they have lands in hand, they can play an artifact, discard a land, and then play land for turn off the construct. I'm going to go ahead and send the Disruptor in, baiting for ninjutsu, so we'll take the trade here. Golden Tail Disciple will be the play for the turn. Now we have a 2/3 flyer of our own, not big enough to block the Sky Swimmer Koi well. Let's see a draw 3, discard 2 being fine here. Circuit Mender isn't going to change things much on the ground, so we'll do that. Horrible way to tap there. Alright. So discard these 2 lands, or discard the 1 artifact here, so we can play land for turn and play the Modern Age. Love drawing into the Tamiyo's Completion to deal with the Sky Swimmer Koi here. That's going to be excellent for us. I think that's what I want to do here, is discard Nezumi Prowler or Circuit Mender and just try to take things in the sky by shutting off Sky Swimmer Koi with Tamiyo's Completion. That being said, they're going to get a big ninjutsu out next turn because we know they were trying to do that last turn. So let's go and discard Maybe even Circuit Mender's just too late to matter much. Feels like the Prowler's effect is going to be impactful at some point. Discard the Circuit Mender, I think. Go for the Modern Age. Alright, another land here we'll discard. The Island. We've got 3 blue sources, only 2 black sources on board. Alright, so we'll see what they want to do with the Sky Swimmer Koi here. Hopefully it's not a good enough ninjutsu card that they want to bounce a 3/3 flyer to play it. Hopefully they just want to keep hitting us for 3. But we'll see. I can't imagine it being better than Sky Swimmer Koi. Yeah, it's not. It's just a Moon Circuit Hacker. They'll just draw a card. It's fine. Really hoping they draw the blue source to immediately recast it. Excellent, because we want to tap it down. So draw discard here, discard another land here. Easily the choice. Now we tap down the flyer, shut off its ability as well. We just need to make sure that our ground is good enough to block all of their nonsense, which it should be already, but I think I'm going to play Nezumi Prowler as well. I don't really want to put Modern Age back in my hand when I can just keep chipping in for 2 damage with it instead. I do really like having a 3/1 on the board to block their 2/3, especially when they have Arm Guard Familiar to equip to it and make it a 4/4. Being able to block that with a 3/1 and a 1/1 is going to be pretty important. It's going to be very hard to race a lifelinker, especially when they can make it bigger. Behold the Unspeakable is absolutely massive here. Make all of our creatures 0 power. They all already have only like 1 toughness, so that completely shifts this game far into our opponent's favor. They can just get a free attack all here, and then we don't get to attack back with anything next turn. Yeah, this is really bad. Oh, we do still have... Prowler's still a 1/1. That's actually good that it's still a 1/1 here. We might even just trade it off still to hold off some of this damage. We'll get another 2/3 flyer to block with. All our creatures will actually have power next turn. Oh yeah, I'll trade it for the Arm Guard Familiar to keep them from re-equipping that elsewhere. They do get to draw and discard a card. If they have a land in hand, Containment Construct gets to pop off a bit there. They do have a land in hand. Seems good. And Circuit Mender is the draw. Does not do much at this point, but we'll still play it here. What do we have left in our deck? We could have Behold the Unspeakable. If we draw into Behold the Unspeakable, we're really going to want to have played land for turn, so we know we can always have 0 cards in hand if we draw into that to get the full draw for. Yeah. Let's drop the land here and pass the turn. So that would be our biggest draw here, would be Behold the Unspeakable, probably even a bigger draw than Junji the Midnight Sky would be. So our opponent definitely got to reap the benefits of their Behold here, so if we can get our own, that would be super sweet. Could do the exact same thing it did for them, where it really pushes things in our favor. But yeah, the Scry 2, Draw 2, absolutely massive here. Set up good top decks for the late game. Network Terminal, so our opponent now gets to start drawing and discarding every turn, which again combos disgustingly with Containment Construct, turning it into just straight draw a card, don't even discard, because they could use it and draw, then discard whatever they discard, they'll play. That being said, in order to use it, they have to tap another untapped artifact, which is just Containment Construct, so it does whittle down a blocker. Invoke Justice, bring back their best card from grave, put a bunch of counters on their board. What is their best card from grave? Oh, Jugen Defends the Temple. That is horrific. That is a bomb mythic rare coming back to the board off of Invoke Justice, +4 +1/+1 counters spread amongst the whole field. That is a massive double bomb turn. Invoke Justice into Jugen Defends the Temple. Twisted Embrace is a really good draw. We can blow up one of their flyers with this, or we can just blow up their lifelinker right now. The flyer they get off of this is going to be a 3/3 maximum. They probably still want to play cards. It's probably not going to be that big. But the flyer they get off of Drugan Defends the Temple is going to be absolutely disastrous for us. I think we have to just hold on to Twisted Embrace and sit on our butts here, hope for the best. Probably should have, yeah, I definitely should have attacked with double Vector Glider. That was a miss. Their flyers don't have haste. So we missed out on 4 damage here. Should have got. It's possible I should even just keep pressure on them, just attack for 4, then blow up the vision, attack for 5. Because the problem is, once they get this to be the remnant of the Rising Star, even if I immediately kill it with a sorcery speed removal spell, they still put a million +1/+1 counters on something the turn it flips. Which is super bad for us. And now they even have a 4/4 flyer alongside it. Yeah. No, this has been, ever since the Visions of the Unspeakable, a disastrous game for us. The Scry 2 into incredible draws to pick up off of it. Like, we're definitely not playing ideally, but we're in a super bad position. Even if we were, they would just be at 16 and still have the 5,000 scary cards they have right now. We'll trade a hacker for a hacker, if that's how they want to go. Network Disruptor. Make sure we can get some damage in, but it doesn't really matter. We can blow up their Skyblessed Samurai, but then we accept that they're buffing everything else. If we don't blow up their Skyblessed Samurai, then we're accepting that we're taking 5 damage a turn for the rest of eternity. I guess we can triple block with 2 Vector Gliders and a Network Disruptor, and they can only kill a Network Disruptor and a Vector Glider. So we still have a 2/3 flyer if we triple block Skyblessed Samurai with 2 2/3s and a 1/1. I suppose that's the play here. We Network Disruptor, get ready to triple block the Skyblessed Samurai. And just hope to blow up the remnant of the Rising Star. No draw discard off Network Terminal, so whatever's in their hand is super good, if that's the case. Yep, so that is a 7/7 that puts a million +1/+1 counters on another one of their creatures whenever they play it. So we are going to see, probably going to see that happen, see why the Remnant is such a ridiculous problem. That even if we kill it, it's still got, you know, +5/+5 to whatever 2/1 they play this turn. And that will get to keep the counters permanently. So I suppose in this matchup we should have just been getting in as aggressively as possible earlier, because then we'd be attacking aggressively, potentially trading off into cards like Containment Construct to keep them off of just getting infinite value off the draw discard effects and stuff like that. Seems like the biggest thing we could have done better earlier. This is horrible. Network Disruptor taps down a flyer, we can no longer triple block Samurai, and that's going to be like a 7/7 flyer because of Remnant of the Rising Star. We don't have any Wrath effects in our deck. The best we can draw now is a 5/5 Flying Menace that does a pretty small impact effect when it dies for against 8/8 flyers. I think this one's on lock for our opponent at this point. Just immensely massive bombs here. Just a land for us. Yeah, I'm just going to conserve my mental energy for next game. This one's long over. Here we are now, round 8. Really rough hand. We're not putting anything on the board unless we draw a black source. If we do have Life to Shiro Umezawa, which is quite spicy, but we're still not putting any creatures on board. I think this has to be a mulligan here, though. Mana's really bad. This is even worse. Can't afford to really mold a 5 here. We are at least on the draw. And if we hit a blue source, we have Thirst for Knowledge now. But there's the 4th black source. Things looking like they're running away from us here. Potentially into the 6 and 2. Do do draw a blue source here. Unfortunately, Enthusiastic Mechanaut, too small to kill with Life of Toshiro Umezawa, and they're not likely to play a 3-mana 1 toughness creature. I guess they could play the 4-1 for 3, so we might wait on Life of Toshiro Umezawa until that. Or do we just sit here and gain some life out of it? Yeah, let's gain some life out of it. We're going to draw some cards here. We can afford to lose a bit of value by not potentially nuking a 1 toughness creature. So blue-red artifacts so far with Enthusiastic Mechanaut as the first play. They play a tapped black source here. Post-combat, they're thinking they're going to go for the Modern Age to draw a card and discard a card. So the main thing we're worried about here would be Tamiyo's completion to shut off Junji out of a blue-black-red deck. Oh, they discard Unstoppable Ogre, so they did have the Ogre we could have killed with the life, but they just discarded to that anyway. Let's go the Modern Age over the Thirst for Knowledge so that it flips into a creature sometime soon. Prosperous Thief is a solid draw. Land for turn. So I am happy to say we have been drawing really well this game. Definitely did not get punished for the mono black hand on the 6-lander, or the 6 card hand. I was getting really worried there after the last game. I am going to have a 2-3 on the ground and a 2-3 in the sky soon enough, so if I don't top deck a land, I can kind of afford to just cast Thirst for Knowledge to pick up a land and not commit anything to the board. Plus I'm drawing discarding again here to try to get a land. Okay, we do get a land, so we can go discard Centipede, play a land. Drop Prosperous Thief here. Get ready to cast Junji next turn. Play Centipede or Prosperous Thief, which is better? Centipede might just be better than the Thief, because we're not really going to connect with it to get a treasure token or anything. Plus, if we keep Centipede around, I guess we could Thirst for Knowledge and discard the Centipede instead. Yeah, I mean, they don't attack in super well here, but again, if we survive the long game, we've got a really good position, so I should probably be playing a blocker here, rather than just dropping a Thirst for Knowledge without committing anything to the board. Let's get rid of Chainflail Centipede, it just dies to more cards. And then we play Prosperous Thief. And now we're just ready to block. Fingers crossed for that 5th land here. But even if we don't get it, we can Thirst for Knowledge. Guarantee Junji the turn after. And this way, don't have to worry too much about a massive amount of aggression from our opponent. We've got at least 2 blockers here. We're going to have a 2-3 flyer to block with next turn as well. Should be relatively comfortable. Take the 2 here or get ninjutsu'd. Ninjutsu'd it is, Biting Palm Ninja. That will exile a card from our hand, and there goes Junji the Midnight Sky. Seems like the correct card to have at this time. There's the land. Alright, see what we're getting with Thirst for Knowledge here. Attack with Prosperous Thief, trade into one of these, I guess. Might as well just block with it at that point to block Biting Palm Ninja, which is a 3-3, trade our 3-2 up. Yeah, we're not going to get any ninjutsu off the hacker, just drop it down, and we're hoping for good draws. Biting Palm Ninja was absolutely devastating. They get a 3-3 onto the board and exile Junji permanently. It's a removal spell for Junji that doesn't trigger Junji's death ability and keeps a 3-3 on their board, and now there's an Onicult Anvil to pop off with Virus Beetle. Game looks over. You know, it's just on lock again. mill ourselves one here to get a 2-3 flyer out a little bit sooner to not die quite as quickly. See their combat trick here. Here we are in the final game of this sealed event. Win or lose, we are 6-2 right now. The next win is incredibly important as it will make us into Day 2, and unfortunately we are on the draw again here, but quite a good hand. Life of Toshiro Umezawa and Virus Beetle no matter what, and if we hit land we make it to Circuit Mender and Searchlight Companion. If we get farther than that, we get all the way to Junji, the Midnight Sky. 2 mana from our opponent, just mono black so far. They did have to mull here. Let's drop a Virus Beetle first, then play our Life of Toshiro Umezawa once they play a 1 toughness creature. Otherwise, we'll just slam down Circuit Mender or Searchlight Companion or something. Opponent discards a Shrine Steward, just a late game play at 5 mana 3/2 that pulls out an aura. They are on black-red, still no plays so far. I kind of like a Circuit Mender getting down here first then. Let's hit for 1 though. Get this Circuit Mender down on board. If we draw into any ninjutsu cards, that'll be a great card to ninjutsu on an empty board. 4 mana from our opponent, and the Long Reach of Night is the play. Discard a card or sacrifice a creature. I think we're good to just sacrifice our 1/1 here, keep attacking for 2. Don't really want to discard a card, then I can play Searchlight Companion and sacrifice a 1/1 on that as well. Sacrificing Circuit Mender would also not be the worst, as we would draw a card when we do that, but I'd like to keep as much power on the board as possible here. Dockside Chef from our opponent, pretty great in the Rakdos Sacrifice decks, but that is the only creature they have so far. Definitely attack all, probably drop the Midnight Sky here. See if they have exile removal. If they don't, Midnight Sky is going to do some nasty things. And even if they do have exile removal, we've got some backup plans here. Still some powerful cards in our hand. Black, red, and white. White could be the exile removal they need, and of course, we're still in a good position here. Let's I gotta chill a little bit. Been a little salty at the end of this sealed event here. My apologies. Life of Toshiro Umezawa can buff Circuit Mender to be able to attack in with both of our creatures to guarantee some good damage here. And then we can still Twisted Embrace, but I don't want to Twisted Embrace right now. If I want to Twisted Embrace, then I should just do it right now, kill the Animus. I can also just Behold the Unspeakable. Set up for a Scry 2 next turn and hold on to Twisted Embrace for next turn. I guess it's better to Twisted Embrace now than later when they don't have the mana to sacrifice the Animus. But then they play a bomb, I die. Animus is certainly not a bomb. Just doesn't hit us that hard. I think I want to play Life of Toshiro Umezawa, weirdly enough, and just pressure in for damage. We're at 21 here. We'll race for a bit. They draw into a beetle. That's going to be a bad time for us. So let's hold on to the land for that, I suppose. Spirited Companion, draw a card. Get a 1/1 out. Pretty great. Really good with Dockside Chef. That's going to chump block and draw another card when it does so. Just force them to crack it right now to the Dockside Chef. really put some pressure in here, thanks to the Prosperous Thief. This is enough damage now that I'm okay losing our removal spell. So we hit for 6. They're down to 3 life now. We play Behold the Unspeakable to shut off blockers next turn. We even have the mana thanks to the treasure token to probably do Searchlight Companion plus Behold. Yeah, we've got 7. Actually, we need to draw another land here to do that. Network Disruptor, tap down the 1 blocker. Could just be game here. Let's see. Attacking for 3. Do they have removal? They do have removal for Circuit Mender. We do draw a card off of this at least. They're down to 2 cards in hand. We're going to have a lot on board. There's Otawara in our hand to bounce one of their creatures. Although we'd need 1 more mana to do that. But it's probably better keeping it in hand than playing it on board right now. It's really hard to overstate how stressed I am right now. My heart is beating hardcore. It's been a long day. And I will be uploading the other attempts of the Arena Open. If I 7 win this one, I'll be uploading the other attempts after this attempt and the day 2. Because I want to do day 2 obviously tomorrow when day 2 happens, which means I want to give you the run that led into day 2, so you get the full sequence there as the video. So they're at 3 life. We bounce 1 blocker. They have to block there. Take 2. Don't die. They kill another 1/1 next turn. They kill the Disruptor, but they're out of creatures. They just play a Scrounger. We still have 2. Do we just Behold instead? Still attack all, so we can scry 2, or do we pressure for more damage this way? We pressure for 2 damage here. They're down to just Scrounger. They kill the 1/1 flyer. We have a 2/3 and a 1/1. They have just Scrounger. We play Behold the Unspeakable next turn, shut off its power. So it's not going to kill our 1/1 on a block there. So even if they play another creature, yeah, I think we pressure here. Could have returned our own. Oh no, we could have had. Oh my god. Oh my god, we could have returned our own Memory of Toshiro, given our flyer +2/+2, and attacked in for 3 in the sky while they're tapped out. That was bad. That was a bad misplay. And now here's Banishing Slash with an artifact and enchantment out for 2 blockers. Here's High Speed Hover Bike though, for another flyer to come up. And tap down a creature when we play it, shutting off another blocker next turn. Don't do it till their end step in case they play a flying creature. One card in hand. Lets them scry, lets them do damage to something. If it doesn't have Summoning Sickness, it has Summoning Sickness, so they can't kill anything of ours this turn, which means High Speed Hover Bike will be lethal. Once again, winning through a big misplay there. Missed lethal. Doesn't matter what we tap, none of them have flying. Go to our turn. Scry 2, draw 2, or actually we just draw 4. And crew up a flyer and send it in. Oh my god. Oh, that was my 4th run through the Arena Open event here. And I almost threw it in the trash. I am sure I misplayed in my other rounds that I lost as well, but we will get there by the hair on our back. 7-2. 6-0 into 7-2, almost 6-0 into a 6-3 there. Just wanted to make it as stressful as possible. Got to be as much content as possible there. We're now qualified for day 2 of the Arena Open, the traditional draft event. So I will definitely see you all tomorrow for that. Once again, I would like to apologize for the bit of saltiness earlier, a little bit of edge to my voice. I try to be better about that kind of stuff, but I was incredibly worried and stressed out. Wow. That was wild. My heart is still absolutely beating. I can't even do the intro or the outro like normal here. What do I say? What am I supposed to say here? If you enjoy this video and you'd like to see more like it, just stick around on the channel. You're at the right place. I do these videos as close to daily as I can. There's also a Twitch channel in the link in the description below where I stream on occasion. I will be streaming a boatload tonight, I think, by the time you're seeing this, or tomorrow. If I get this uploaded super fast and get it uploaded the day I recorded it, because I'm trying to hit Mythic in Draft by the end of the month, which lasts like 2 more days now, I think. So I got to get all the way from Diamond to Mythic, so we'll be playing tons of Premier Drops as well. Really stressful competitive Magic time for me. I don't love competitive Magic. I just like to do it for content. I just like drafting for fun, just chill drafting, really. But, I mean, here we are, bringing the content, bringing you the day 2 tomorrow. So, once again, just thank you all very much for watching. I will see you again very soon for some more Magic Arena.